What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Breaking news out there, guys. We've got to talk about updates about Venom 2, Sony's plans, and the movie has been officially delayed, according to the Hollywood Trades, but there was also a report just came out before Variety clarifying the new release date for Venom 2, and in that article, they're talking about some of the plans that are on the table for Venom 2 and the possibility of things getting delayed even further. So let's kind of get into this now. According to this article here on Variety, and we saw this pop up on Twitter, share it right away. You should definitely be following us on Twitter to stay up to date on all the crazy nerdy stuff going on out there. But it says here from Variety, Carnage will have to wait, talking about how Venom will be delayed. So let's look at this here. Here we go again. Despite Hollywood's best efforts, the Delta variant of the thing you know about it has started to upend the movie theater industry recent gains. Given the rocky film landscape, Sony Pictures has announced plans to delay the theatrical release of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the studio's upcoming comic book adaptation starring Tom Hardy as the alien symbiote. The Venom sequel, which has been delayed several times amid the pandy, was set to open September 24th and will now premiere October 15th. The delay comes as the, thingy is skyrocketing. The surge has led a decline in consumer confidence in returning to the movies. According to the recent survey conducted by the National Research Group, 67% of moviegoers say they're very or somewhat comfortable visiting their local moviplex, which is a dip of 3%. Okay, so they keep tabs on that sort of stuff. Really interesting. Now, as I was saying to you guys, right before this, literally right before this, Deadline had come out and reported that they were thinking big time rumblings about whether or not Venom would move. And in that report, they say that the plans for Sony included the possibility of delaying the movie to January or October 15th. Now, it ended up being October 15th, according to Variety, and we do kind of agree that Variety wouldn't report that unless it was real, right? So it was sort of the trades, kind of trying to figure out what they could confirm and then breaking it out that way. But yeah, within this report, it's just talking about how Sony was considering moving the whole thing to January. And you really have to start to wonder here, guys, as I've said before, is it possible that Spider-Man No Way Home could get delayed? An update to the possibilities with regards to that movie, because we just talked about this recently in a video and in a stream, and I feel like we've been talking about this. The reality is, it said in the Deadline article that Sony does not mess around with multiple release windows. Like, they really want this film to release in theaters. And as I've been saying to you guys, Sony was one of the first studios in the heat of 2020 when theater stuff was being diminished. Sony was one of the first studios to be like, we are not releasing a film into this environment. We are going to wait until it is better. And look, I'm not like any kind of an expert when it comes to, what's going on in the world right now, any of that kind of stuff, right? But I will say that it looks like if they are going to delay, they're going to have to delay for a long time. Like, essentially, if they're really fixated on box office only, it seems to me that 1 month going into October is not going to fix this problem. Maybe it will fix the problem. Maybe in a month's time, it'll be a completely different situation and a lot of curves will be back on the way down. But currently right now, like just me kind of looking out at what I see in the world, it seems like delaying to October is not going to really solve that problem. It's interesting because the Deadline article confirms that Sony was thinking about a January push. And I believe if they would have pushed this to January, they would have obviously had to delay their Morbius movie because that was also going to come out in January. And I strongly feel they would have delayed the release of Spider-Man No Way Home because I think there could be some kind of post-credit scene or connective tissue that's established between the Venom sequel and the Spider-Man sequel that's happening in the MCU, which will also have other Sony properties in it. We've been talking about that for a long time. It just kind of makes sense. Regardless, the main point is that I personally believe that if Sony is hell-bent on getting a theatrical release, they want theatrical box office money, and they're going to wait until they think it's back to normal. I don't think a month will help. In fact, I don't think any time for the rest of this year will help. I think you'd have to go all the way into next year. That, I think, would be a massive mistake, because I think there's another aspect here to this whole game, and that is just the fact that when you put this much distance between when a property was supposed to come out and sort of its just natural hype cycle and when it actually comes out, there can be a waning of interest for the fans. I feel like that happened with Wonder Woman 1984, even though that movie wasn't even that great. I feel like that happened with Black Widow, and I unfortunately think that could happen with Shang-Chi and the Eternals. And so I just think that Hollywood is in this really weird spot. And I wonder if Disney and Sony are having discussions behind the scenes where Disney's starting to sort of learn this lesson. And especially if Shang-Chi massively underperforms, they're going to be like, hey man, maybe it is partially because of what's going on with all the health and people not wanting to go to the theaters. But there's also something in the data here that's indicating that the further out we push things from when they were supposed to come out, there's just a natural waning in the attention for that thing. Now, I don't think that would affect Spider-Man No Way Home as much, because either way, that's sort of the hype thing that we're all fixated and focused on. But honestly, it's been so long since that Morbius trailer, I think there's a lot of people that have totally lost interest in that film, and it might never come back for them because something else might take its place. They just might be into something different. And when you start to get people excited about a movie, and that begins way before promotion, by the way, it just begins when you announce things and things break out there in the news and the rumor mill. The further from that point you get to the release of your product, I think you really get into dangerous territory where people just won't care anymore. But then again, it really seems like Sony is not interested in that Disney Plus deal at all. But again, I wonder if that is just the Hollywood trades reporting that, if maybe there are some discussions going on there. So developing story with all of these movies in the rest of this year, unfortunately, I know we're all sick of talking about this. We're sick of these delays, but it is the reality of the situation, and it's our job to try to keep you guys up to date with what is going on. It looks like, according to the Hollywood trades, Venom has officially moved again to October 15th of this year. However, it was reported in the trades just before that January of next year was also being considered. So I don't know, man. Let's just keep an eye on that, see if it gets delayed again or what the plans are there. Man, I really hope we get Spider-Man by the end of this year. I hope everything works out there in the world and we can just get back to normal ASAP. But that's the report. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section below. Make sure you check out our live streaming channel where we do a ton of fun content. I stream there every day, Monday through Friday. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.